The sky burned red as an ominous wind howled through the trees. The village diviner, an old man with eyes clouded by age and wisdom, sat trembling before the gathered elders. His hands, marked with ancient symbols, gripped the sacred cowrie shells as if trying to contain a terrible truth. The villagers watched in tense silence as he cast the shells upon the ground. A sudden gust blew across the sacred circle, making the fire flicker wildly. The diviner gasped, his body stiffening. The forest whispers of doom. A power long hidden is awakening. His voice cracked with fear. Mothers clutched their children. Warriors exchanged uneasy glances. The village chief leaned forward, his expression grim. The one who defies fate shall bring light or destruction. A distant thunderclap rumbled, though the sky remained clear. The wind carried the diviner's words into the night, as if the spirits themselves listened. Deep within the forest, miles away from the village, a young hunter named Jauro felt a sudden chill run down his spine. The night, once familiar and calm, suddenly felt watchful. Jauro had always been different. From the moment he could walk, whispers followed him like a shadow. Often as a child, raised by the village's reluctant kindness, he grew up knowing that he was neither fully welcome nor completely abandoned. A cursed boy, the elders often murmured. The spirits do not favor him. Despite their suspicions, Jauro worked hard. Day after day, he roamed the vast wilderness, setting traps, tracking game, and learning the ways of the forest. But luck was rarely on his side. His traps often lay empty, his arrows missed their mark, and even when he succeeded, his rewards were meager. And yet, through all of this, Jauro's heart remained kind. He never stole, he never complained, he never let bitterness take root. He was poor, but his spirit was rich in kindness. One evening, as hunger gnawed at his belly, Jauro made a desperate decision. He ventured beyond the familiar trails, deeper into the dense heart of the forest, into the forbidden lands, a place where the trees whispered secrets, a place where shadows moved when no one was looking. As he pushed past thick vines and towering trees, his sharp eyes caught something unusual, a golden bird, its wing trapped in a thorny bramble. Its feathers shimmered even in the dying light, a glow that seemed almost unearthly. Jauro's instincts told him that this was no ordinary creature. Any other hunter would have captured it immediately, eager to trade its golden plumes for riches. But something in him hesitated. Instead of drawing his knife, he knelt down carefully, avoiding the thorns as he whispered, cradling it with care. Little did he know, this single act of kindness would change his destiny forever. That night, as Jauro lay in his humble hut, moonlight poured in through the small window. The golden bird, resting in the corner, began to shimmer. Before his eyes, the bird's shape twisted and stretched, glowing brighter until a stunning young woman stood where the bird had been. Her skin was radiant as sunlight on water, and her deep, knowing eyes held a sorrowful wisdom beyond her years. "You saved me from my curse," she said, her voice like music, both familiar and otherworldly. Jauro could barely believe his eyes. As dawn painted the sky in gold, Nabila, the enchanted princess, smiled at Jauro and placed her delicate fingers on his palm. "As long as your heart remains kind, you will never go hungry." A warmth spread through him. The next morning, as he went to check his traps, Jauro stared in astonishment. His once empty snares were overflowing. Plump rabbits, fat birds, and even a wild boar, something he had never been able to catch before. His pot, which had been nearly empty the night before, was brimming with food. For the first time in his life, he felt blessed. The village noticed, whispers turned to murmurs, and soon everyone watched Jauro with curiosity rather than pity. Jauro shared his fortune freely, offering food to the elderly, the sick, and the children who once mocked him. But kindness did not shield him from suspicion. No man's luck changes overnight, the elders muttered. Even his childhood friend, Bakari, once his only companion, began to doubt him. How can a simple hunter suddenly have everything? Bakari whispered to the others. Something is not right. And jealousy, once a seed, began to take root. Far away, beyond the mountains, in a cursed stronghold where no light touched, the dark sorcerer Gahiji sat in meditation. Suddenly, his bones trembled, his magic flickered, and the dark pools of power he had long controlled rippled in disturbance. His eyes snapped open, glowing red with rage. The girl lives, my curse is broken. His breath came out in sharp, angry bursts as he clenched his fist. She will not escape me again. As he stood, dark clouds gathered in the skies, swelling as if the heavens themselves feared his wrath. He raised his staff. She belongs to me. And with that, he summoned his minions, creatures of shadow, swift and silent, to hunt her down. Nabila's growing bond. As the days passed, Jauro and Nabila's bond deepened. She told him stories of her lost kingdom, of a time before the curse. He showed her about the beauty of the wild, how to track animals, how to find the sweetest honey hidden in the trees. One evening, beneath a silver moon, Nabila whispered, I was meant to be a queen, but I would rather be free with you. Jauro smiled, warmth flooding his heart. He didn't know it yet, but he was falling in love. The forest had always been Jauro's refuge, a place of hope, peace, and survival. But tonight, something was different. As he and Nabila sat by the fire, laughter fading into comfortable silence, an eerie chill crept through the trees. The air grew heavy, and the usual night sounds, chirping crickets, rustling leaves, vanished. Then, in the distance, a whisper. Not the wind, not an animal, a voice, low, slithering, calling her name. Nabila's fingers tightened around Jauro's wrist. He knows I am here, she whispered, fear flickering in her golden eyes. Jauro immediately understood they were being hunted. Before Jauro could react, shadows surged from the trees, dark figures with glowing red eyes. They moved like smoke, shifting and swirling, their twisted forms barely human. With a roar, Jauro grabbed his bow, firing an arrow straight at the nearest creature. It struck, but instead of falling, the shadow absorbed the arrow and lurched forward, unfazed. Nabila raised her hand, chanting in a language older than time itself. A burst of golden light erupted from her palm, forcing the creatures back. They screeched, retreating into the darkness, but not before one of them whispered a chilling promise. You cannot hide from him forever. Then they were gone. Jauro turned to Nabila, his heart pounding. Who is he? He asked. She swallowed hard. Gahiji, the sorcerer who cursed me. He will not stop until he takes me back. The truth hung between them. They were no longer safe. With no choice but to flee, Jauro and Nabila set out at dawn. The only one who could help them was the mountain seer, a mysterious old woman who lived at the highest peak, far beyond the lands Jauro had ever known. She knows all things, Nabila said. If there's a way to defeat Gaiji, she will tell us. The journey was long, the terrain treacherous. The forest grew darker, the rivers wider, the hills steeper. But Jauro pressed on, determined to protect Nabila at all costs. What he did not know was that Gahiji's spies followed them every step of the way. Back in the village, Bakari's envy had turned into resentment. How is it that Jauro, the orphan hunter, now has food, fortune, and a woman of unearthly beauty? The elders whispered of dark magic, of curses, and forbidden love. And when Gahiji's messengers arrived in the village, promising wealth and power to any who revealed Jauro's whereabouts, Bakari hesitated only for a moment before giving them the answer they sought. The sorcerer now knew where to find them. At last, after days of climbing, Jauro and Nabila reached the mountain seer's cave. The old woman sat by a fire, her skin wrinkled with age, her eyes white as pearls, seeing beyond the mortal world. "You have come for answers," she murmured, staring at them as if she had been expecting them. Nabila nodded. "How do we stop Gahiji?" The seer's face grew solemn. "A great battle is coming," she warned. "One of you must make a terrible sacrifice." Jauro's stomach clenched. "What kind of sacrifice?" he asked. The seer didn't answer. Instead, she handed Nabila a golden dagger. "When the time comes," she whispered, "you will know what to do." As they descended the mountain, storm clouds rolling, turning day into shadowed twilight. The air was thick with magic. Jauro gripped his spear tighter. Nabila clutched the golden dagger, her hands trembling. "He is coming," she whispered. And then the wind howled, the trees bent, and the earth trembled. Gahiji had arrived. A pillar of dark mist formed before them, swirling and twisting until it took shape. Gahiji, tall and cloaked in flowing black, his eyes burning like molten fire. "You cannot escape me, little princess," he sneered. Jauro stepped between them, raising his spear. "You will not take her." Gahiji laughed, a terrible sound that echoed through the valley. With a wave of his hand, the ground cracked open and dark creatures crawled forth, their twisted forms ready to attack. Jauro and Nabila stood their ground. The final battle had begun. They had seen many rulers, many warriors, but Jauro and Nabila were different. They had faced darkness, fought for love, and emerged victorious, not through magic alone, but through faith in each other. And so the ancestors blessed their union, ensuring that their love would echo through generations. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting golden light over the land, Jauro and Nabila stood hand in hand. They had defied fate. They had written their own story, and though their journey had ended, another had just begun, because legends never truly fade. And so, dear listener, the story of the kind hunter and the enchanted princess comes to an end. Or does it? For every legend, a new one is waiting to be written. And maybe, just maybe, the next great tale will be yours. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more legendary African tales. Let's keep our stories alive together.